the one of the basic items that's so exciting about science and research specifically is that you're literally learning new things. And so what I think in many cases we know a lot about metals to some degree, but what we're able to learn in terms of the specificity and the details, we're able to get much more closer to a lot of the intricate details that we had no way of seeing or observing. For decades, people theorized certain things, but we're just now getting to the point where we can actually see some of those things and actually experimentally observe them. That's super exciting. And in some cases, these observations lead to discoveries in which we found out the theory is not quite right or not quite what we thought it was.
Yeah.
And so these are very exciting discoveries.
Welcome, Jonathan, Madison. I am so thrilled and honored to have you on the show at Curious Monica to dive into your story. Very excited to celebrate Black History Month with you. So, one of the things I was so inspired is in your journey getting into science and, of course, government work. And just to be direct, let's break it down. What does it even mean? In layman's term of what a metals program and NSF's Division of Materials Research is all about and what your role is as a program director.
Sure, yeah. So I manage the Metals and Metallic Nanostructures program. And so what that means is I manage NSF's merit review process for all proposals that come in focused on fundamental metals research and evaluate them for their opportunity in terms of investment, what science can come out of it, and ultimately help make recommendations on what science gets funded and gets the opportunity to be pursued.
Your resume is so impressive and inspiring, but there must have still been a very starting point of, geez, like young Jonathan thinking about, I want to get into science one day. Do you remember when that might have been for you?
I do actually. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting stories. I developed a passion for STEM and science when I learned that I had an opportunity to get some scholarship money to go to school to actually pay for it because I had no money by majoring in science, technology, engineering, and math. So choosing a STEM field actually provided a way for me to have my education paid for and be able to finance it when I had no other means to really do so. It really created an opportunity for me that I was happy to pursue. I had good grades in high school and science and math, and so I was okay. But I really developed a passion pretty quickly when I realized it was an opportunity and a path towards being able to do something
Mm.
more that I had no means to pursue otherwise.
Science is just such a broad field as well. Even with that, was there still like an early moment of, geez, this part of science? Or maybe one day I want to have a job like something.
Yeah, I was an undergrad actually,
Uh-huh.
and I had the opportunity to intern in the summers. And so the summer of my sophomore year, I interned at the Naval Research Laboratory in Washington, D.C.,
Ah.
actually. And I had a mentor who was a metallurgist. His name was Dr. George Spanos, and he really introduced me to metallurgy, and it was exciting. He introduced me to the iron carbon phase diagram, and I learned, man, this is the underpinnings of so many things that we depend on today, right? Bridges, cars, structural materials, skyscrapers, right? The things that we've built our modern world out of, a lot of these things are based in metals. It was extremely exciting, and it was just eye opening that I could be able to play a role in identifying potentially the next set of materials that we might make something out of someday. To me, that was extremely captivating, extremely exciting. And that's really what fueled my interest to be not just in science general, but specifically in metals and metallurgy.
I'm curious because I think so much has changed in science and technology in the past few decades. What's been the biggest changes? Is it the way how we use metals? Is it the way how we understand it? I'm curious, like for somebody who's like learning about it for the first time, yeah, what has changed? What's so cool about being in the space now?
I think that's a great question because it then opens the door
Hmm.
to ways that we might be able to optimize or use materials, specifically metals, in ways we didn't anticipate or know that we could.